Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk about auto scaling. So as we have seen how to create a load balancer, but this time I have launched new servers in US East region and created a load balancer in this region. I have used same AMI which I created in Oregon region. So I copied that AMI from US West to US East, and based on that I have launched a couple of instances. Now why I need to do that? Because integration of auto scaling policies and CloudWatch alarms is only supported in US East region as of now. You will not be able to create alarms and then call the auto scaling policies in any other region except US East. So we have two servers running and we have one load balancer. So these instances are still registering themselves, so we don't worry about that. So let's see how to create auto scaling policies. Before we do that, we need to download auto scaling command line tools as well as CloudWatch command line tools. So I have set up auto scaling command line tool, and I have also created a simple shell script. Basically it contains all the environment variables that we need. You will find this information in this readme file for every tool that you download. We simply create this script and then call it. So all these environment variables will be exported to this grunt shell. So we have various options here, or various executable scripts. When we set up auto scaling, we need to configure 4 things. First is your auto scaling launch configuration, second auto scaling group, and third your auto scaling scale up policy, and fourth auto scaling scale down policy. So first we start with auto scaling launch configuration. So it takes few parameters. First is the name of this configuration. Let's say my launch config, and then the AMI ID based on which you want to launch new instances. Let's copy the AMI ID from here and put it here. Then you have to specify instance type. Is t1.micro in this case, and then you have to specify the key pair that you have created for these servers. So the key pair that we have is AMI key, and then the group name. This is the security group that you have created, that is web server, and hit enter. So here you get the successful message that a launch configuration has been created for you. Now based on this, we are going to create the auto scaling group. Now it will take a couple of parameters. Let's check it out what it needs. So we have to specify the group name and the launch configuration that we have just created. Its name is my launch config. Max size of the servers that you want to keep in your environment, let's say 5, and minimum size that you want to keep it under load balancer, let's say 2. Availability zone US East, and then health check parameter, name of load balancer that you have created, and that's all very much that you need. Now let's create it. My scaling group launch configuration is my launch config. Availability zone US East 1C. This is where other instances have been launched. Minimum size that you want to keep 2, maximum size that you want to keep 5, load balancer's name. This is the load balancer name I have created. Then health check type is going to be ELB. Then grace period. Now grace period is the number of seconds between your consecutive autoscaling events. Let's say if one event happened at 10 o'clock, how much time difference you want between the second event. So this is the difference between the two successive events of autoscaling. It's always in seconds. So once you got this autoscaling group created, the next is we have to create the policies. Now in this example, we are going to create two policies. One is to scale up the environment and the other is to scale down the environment. For that, we are going to use AS put scaling policy command. Let's take a look at here. So this command takes few arguments. One is the policy name and then the type of the policy, autoscaling group that we have just created, adjustment. Adjustment means number of servers that you want to create when this policy actually executes. So if we say adjustment 1, it means one server will be added. If you say adjustment 3, 3 servers will be launched at the same time. Let's name it scale up, and then autoscaling group name, my scaling group, and then we have to specify adjustment, how many server you want to create if this policy will be executed, 1, and type is change in capacity, and hit enter. So once this policy has been created, you have to keep this value. You have to save this value somewhere. And similarly, you can create scale down policy. Here you have to specify negative number, but when you specify negative number, you have to specify equals to sign and then -1. It means for my scale down environment, how many servers will be shut down at once? Only one server will be shut down if this policy will be executed, and hit enter. Save this value as well. Now we are done with the autoscaling setup. Next, what we have to do is we need to generate the alarm based on which these policies will be executed. For that, we are going to use CloudFront command line tools. Let's go back there and see if everything is working. So if you get this output, it means your environment is properly set up. So to create the alarms, we are going to use put metric alarm command, and let's just review its parameters. So it will take a couple of options. Alarm name, comparison operator means greater than, equal to, or greater than, less than, whatever it would be. Evaluation period, the sample period for which you want to collect the samples. Metric name, CPU utilization, or input, right disk input output utilization, or memory utilization. Namespace, always EC2. Statics, stats means average, minimum, max, what kind of stats you want. Based on these stats, your alarm will be generated. And the most important thing is alarm action. If this alarm will be generated, what will happen? Here we are going to call our policies. Now let's start by creating a simple alarm. Alarm name is going to be scale up alarm. Alarm description is going to be scale up for 80% of CPU, right? And metric name is going to be CPU utilization, and namespace is going to be AWCEC2, and statistic is going to be, I'll keep it minimum because I want to show you guys in real time how this auto scaling works. So we will see how instances will be created automatically. Period of 60, threshold, here I will keep threshold as let's say 30, and comparison operator is going to be greater than threshold. You have to specify some dimensions, instance ID. So on which instance we want to put this alarm? Let's note down the instance ID of this server. Then evaluation periods, for how many minutes we want to capture the samples. Let's say 3 minutes. Unit is percent. Alarm actions, here we are going to specify the scale up policy. If the load on my server, the minimum load on my server goes to 30%, then scale up my environment with 1 instance, means add 1 instance to my environment. Now once done, hit enter, and as you can see, alarm has been created. Let's go to CloudWatch. And also check the monitoring of this server. We enable detailed monitoring here. So we have got scale up alarm generator. The CPU utilization here is greater than 30 for 3 minutes. Similarly, we create a scale down environment. Okay, let's copy this thing and paste here. Now we will see, we will name it as scale down alarm. Scale down for 10% of CPU. Metric name is same, all this thing is same. The threshold we keep it as 10, and if it is less than threshold, and here we replace the scale down policy with this one. You copy this thing and paste over here. So we have got second alarm creator. Let's refresh this thing. Now we already got an alert because the CPU utilization is already less than 10. So that is why this alarm is already there. So what it will do is, if any server is running less than 10, it will shut that down, but it will keep minimum value of 2. So as what we defined in the scaling group, we have provided minimum value and maximum value. So based on that, minimum servers will remain there even if scale down alarm will be generated. So this is how you can set up your auto scaling policies, how to set up your auto scaling groups and configure alarms. Based on those alarms, you can call your scale up or scale down policies. Keep in mind one thing, integration of auto scaling policies is only supported in US East as of now. Rest of the regions are not supported. So if we are configuring it with any other region, it is possible to set up auto scaling in any region, but then you have to take care of the alarms. Thanks for watching this video guys, and stay tuned for more videos.